Chris Jericho and Daniel Garcia did to Bryan Danielson, I mean, they shot the first shot. Now it's our turn.
I think that every match is a must-win for the Blackpool Combat Club, but when we're facing the Jericho Appreciation Society, you know, we're not just out there wrestling, we're not just out there trying to get the win, which is always our focus. We're defending this. I think we're defending what we stand for. We're defending the Blackpool Combat Club, our morals, our values, because they are the exact opposite, the exact antithesis of everything we stand for. We are professional wrestlers. We are the Blackpool Combat Club, and we don't let you get away with what you've been trying to do, Chris.
Yeah, see, Chris, I can appreciate trying to win by any means necessary. I really do. But when you go after commentators, when you go after ring announcers, when you attack non-contracted talent, you're crossing a line. Jericho taught Garcia very well. They're both vampires. I feel like Bryan should have seen that, but what Bryan saw was the talent and the potential in Garcia and was blinded by that.
That talent doesn't mean jack if you're not surrounding yourself with the right people, if you're not focused on the right goals, and that's our big problem with Garcia. One day he'll find out, just like the rest of us, that Chris Jericho's just using him the same way he tried to use Bryan, and karma will come for him. I think it'll come for him in the form of us. Knowing that I'm wrestling Daniel Garcia in a match that Bryan Danielson is definitely going to be watching, it adds a little bit more to me. When he strapped my Pure Championship around Garcia's waist, even though he's supposed to be my mentor, he's supposed to be the one trying to help me out, he's supposed to be the one teaching me things. Honestly, it hurt. It broke my heart a little bit, but Bryan, I'm not anyone's consolation prize, and I'm not a kid just looking for your approval. I'm not out here to prove something to you. I'm trying to prove something to myself. Prove something to myself that I deserve to wear this name on my chest. Prove to myself that I deserve to be amongst the likes of Claudio Castagnoli, of a Jon Moxley, of you, Bryan Danielson. Chris, Danny, if you want to stab guys in the back, that's fine. We prefer to look you in the eyes or stab you in the front.
That's what's gonna happen this Wednesday on Dynamite.
I think we all were surprised what Yuta said to Bryan Danielson.
With the right guidance, he could be the best wrestler we've ever seen, you know?
Wheeler, I can't help but sort of notice your reaction to Bryan talking about Daniel Garcia right now.
Yeah, the best wrestler you've ever seen.
In pro wrestling, especially when you're at a high level, like either Wheeler Yuta or Bryan Danielson, you get very emotional. But Bryan Danielson has been through so much in pro wrestling. He's such a pro. He's been wrestling for so many years that I don't really think this is going to impact him at all.
Bryan, he's clearly using you. He has Dragon Slayer in his entrance video. He was just using you to get what he wants, to get what Chris Jericho wants. He's a snake. And you didn't see it. I thought that when I bled for this, I thought that meant something. It means something to our world champion. It means something to Mox. It means something to Claudio, because he agrees with me. He gets it. He sees it. But I guess I shouldn't have met my hero. It doesn't mean anything to you, clearly.
I think he looks past this. I think he understands that Wheeler Yuta is younger, can be very emotional, and I think it's not going to have much of any impact on Danielson at all. I think the problem that Sammy Guevara has had, if he has a problem, and he is such a talented kid, I think the problem that he has had has been focused. And I understand it. I understand. Listen, I was married a long, long time ago, and I was in love, and I get it. But I never had my wife at the broadcast desk with me. So I never made out with her like he makes out. I get it, you're in love with your wife, and I do understand that, but he needs to put that aside and concentrate on professional wrestling. And apparently, being a member of the Jericho Appreciation Society, they're all for this. They like for him to be Sammy Guevara in love, and Sammy Guevara, a person that loves his wife and likes to make out with his wife before the matches. But he needs to stay focused. He needs to work on his wrestling, work on his wins and losses, and just leave the love somewhere else. My only advice to Bryan Danielson is watch your back, because he knows what Chris Jericho's all about. He knows what Menard and Parker are all about. He knows about Sammy Guevara. He knows about Jake Hager. He knows exactly what they will do to win.
Welcome back, Riho. Welcome back to your home at AEW. Where have you been? Huh? I haven't seen you anywhere. Have you been hiding, having a nice little holiday, taking a rest? But of course, now you're back. A tale as old as time seems to always play with us. You just come flying at me off the top rope and then smash my head onto the floor. And it really hurt, and I didn't like that. But you know what I want to do? This Wednesday, let's run it back. Why don't we wrestle again? Maybe I'll come flying at you from the top rope. Maybe I'll squash you. I'm different from when we wrestled in Japan years ago. In fact, I'm very different than when we wrestled just last year. This Wednesday on Dynamite, I don't need to listen to that crowd cheering my name. I don't need them to tell me Jamie Hayter's good. I know Jamie Hayter's good. I'm not losing to her. Do you understand that? This Wednesday on Dynamite, I'm gonna get my win.
Gentlemen, what an insane 2022 you've had so far. I mean, you've got the AAA Tag Team titles, the IWGP Tag Team titles, Ring of Honor Tag Team titles, and you are currently the #1 contenders to the AEW Tag Team titles.
For the better part of a decade, all Cash and I've ever wanted to do was be the greatest tag team of all time. And I don't know if we'll ever reach that, but I'd say 2022 is a good starting point. I mean, we are the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions and the IWGP and AAA World Tag Team Championships. But coming with that is a big target on our back. So whether it's Dragon Lee and Dre Listico from AAA or the Gates of Agony, as soon as last week with the Kingdom, they're gunning for our Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. We got that huge target, but ultimately, target or not, we want the 4th belt. The AEW World Tag Team Championships is our ultimate goal. Now, we've had the best year of our career. At the end of the day, we have to have those AEW World Tag Team titles. We have to be 2-time tag team champions, or I just can't live with myself. And right now, we are the rightful #1 contenders.
Hold on. I know you're not here talking about #1 contendership up in whose house?
Let's talk about excitement. You see, I've been waiting for this. FTR, I commend you. You were wise. You waited until we were no longer champions, even if we were cheated out of it, to make your claim, and maybe you thought you would just step right over us. And as much as I respect you, I need you to understand, this is so much more than just an opportunity for us. We get to prove something already, and that is everyone else, we get to prove them wrong.
Now, the fact that we're in the situation in the first place has me perturbed. I'm liable to do something that I might get fined for or even suspended. Easy. Swerving our glory, we proved far more than we needed to. So at this point, it's not even about being in Norfolk, Virginia, going for the tag team championship opportunities against one of the best tag teams in the world.
Size and strength, speed, quickness, they got it all.
It's about FTR this Wednesday surviving, swerving our glory.